All right. Is that too loud? I don't think it's too loud. Okay, looks like this week we are going to refactor some nodes. So we've got these, let's show them. We've got these connections between all of our tiles, that go all over the place. And currently only ghosts can move through the thin ones. Those are the special ones. But let's make it so that, like, let's say this tile is excluded from the enemies to entering. Like, so if a player's running, run away, they can jump onto this tile and jump past it, whereas the enemy has to go around. Give them a little breathing room, or if they want to, like, stop for a second, for whatever reason. I just think that it'll be useful for players to be kind of hide out inside of a tile for a turn or two, to hang out and cause some other mayhem. Maybe there'll be some power-up cards that allow you to, like, while you're standing still, pick which enemy you move. Something like that. But we gotta have cells that enemies can't move through. I gotta have a sip of my, nearly flavored beverage. So let's get that going. So right now, if we look at our cell and board scripts architecture, where'd it go? There it is. All right, you can go away. Got a bunch of comments in here. That's okay. So the board, not too much going on here. A cell currently has neighbors and special neighbors, right? So anybody can move through the neighbors. Only ghosts can move through the special neighbors. We want to be able to say, the neighbor isn't available for ghosts to move through. Why YouTube is not receiving enough video. All right, hopefully it'll keep cranking out. But we want to say, like, this cell is only available for players, or this cell is only available for monsters, for whatever reason. So that when our graph traversal comes through to figure out, like, a path, so if I want to have multiple moves, so in the beginning we said, players and monsters can only move one cell at a time. Like, if I'm in this cell, I can only move one cell. Let's hide these guys. And let's go in and turn back on our selecty quads. Make these easier to select. Even though I spent so much time on those textures, we'll just hide them. So for players here, they can only move to one of the cardinal cells. But let's say in the future we want to have them be able to move to, two. Like, I want to move for here and then here. We're going to do a graph traversal. So instead of saying what are the neighbors to this cell, it's get me every cell within 2 steps of this cell. So, like, we go 1 step, all right, this is a cell. Then we go 1 more step, all right, this is also a cell. And we'd grab all the neighbors of this cell and add those to a stack. Probably just do a breadth first search, add all the cells up, and then the player can move to any of those, 15 cells, whatever they are. And we're gonna do the same thing for enemies, but they're gonna get blockaded or blocked by saying, like, oh, even though despite this being a neighbor, you can't move there. And I'm not really sure how to do it yet. We said only ghosts can move through certain cells, and doing that the other way around to say, like, only a player can move. I think that says we have a similar architecture, but with just a variation on it. And we've only got 2 of those, or 3. So we've got, like, anybody can do it, only ghosts can do it, and then we can do another one that's like only players can do it. Right? Only players equals new. Let's sell. And we sort of have some of the plumbing set up for this. In the special neighbors. Oh, I slid down. for special neighbors, oh, that's gizmos. When we get a cell, like when we go and figure out what moves we can do, we look at I'm in board, not in game. All right. We say if, you know, get all the moves that a player can do. Let's pick enemy. Where are we? Do turn. Do turn. Pick enemy. Do move. So we say do move the current enemy. Player's turn. Get their position. Are you stuck? If you are stuck, you can't move. If you can move, we pass these booleans in. So in calculate moves, we say, you know, is this a player or is this a special person? Where a ghost is a subset of enemies, which is a subset of, you know, movable things. We could build this whole hierarchy, but we're just going to start passing bools and stuff around just for funsies. So if it is a player and we say get all the moves and we say board get moves, we do start possession special, we can also say is player. So let's modify this guy. Right click, refactor, change signature, and I want to add another bool, right? Get players. Get player moves. I wonder if we can move this up. Yeah, we'll leave it there. Why is moved down? Oh, it's down? Alright. Interesting. Ooh, undo that. Alright. So we're just going to add this get player boolean. All the calls we're going to modify. I think it'll pop up to say, you know, what do you want to put in? Say just use false. So we're going to assume false, get player. And then where do we do this? Get special. Do the same thing. If get player, regular moves dot add range cells chords only players dot select, and didn't need an extra paren there, and lambda and dot chord to list it inside to list. I don't know if this needs to be to listed, but one way or another, it's either an enumerator or a list. No big deal. But now this will get, like, if only a player can move there, like if this is a special one, you know, these are going to be exclusive, right? But they should be exclusive because a player is never going to be a ghost and a ghost is never going to be a player. Yeah, we could refactor it, but let's just get it in, get it working. I heard someone say lime in the other room as I was drinking my drink. So now, calculate moves is player. I think this is already hooked up. Enemy moves, calculate moves. So this is the player, true. Yep, that's already hooked up. So this should already get. I keep scrolling instead of control clicking to go to where I want it to. Calculate moves. So this should already be hooked up. Is player. And it will pull out is player, and there we go. Now we just have to set up some actual like player only tiles. Let's let it recompile. I'm gonna run it again just to make sure everything works. You know, run your code every once in a while. Make sure you get or stay as close to compiling as you can. Watch all the progress bars. It's a good time. Alright. So this looks like it's still working. Yeah, perfect. Alright, let's modify our editor script. So to modify these lines, right, we have these, you know, ghost only moves and then regular moves. Now we have these like only players. And we can just add a add another button. Cell editor. I can say. So if it's a player only, it means no ghosts can be there. So there can be no special connections. So we could probably do something fancy and like get rid of all the other connections that aren't player only. Make player only. I think we're gonna end up like the neighbors, like the regular neighbors, right? Special neighbors is really just a subset. Only players is just a subset. So we could have like a fully connected list of neighbors and then have indexes into it for these. Excuse me. Sounds like a lot of work. We can fix it later. All right. So let's do make player only. So we're not going to connect cells special. We're going to connect cells player. Right. And then we're going to say the selected cell and the incoming cell. Create method. Doesn't need to return anything. Takes the cell, takes the cell. Nice. And then we can say the same thing as this. We have to do it bidirectionally. Call this left, call this right, and we're duplicating a lot of code. I'm not too worried about it. Like, we could do a whole pass on it, but right now these are pretty well isolated. You know, I don't want to break everybody's usages, but it's going to bite us later on, just like everything else does. But we're going to get to later on instead of getting bogged down in refactoring early on. Plus, this is pretty easy, just to, you know, say modify the list that's modifying it, or modify the list that this function's modifying, and you're good. So this says, does the left one contain the right one? If it doesn't, add it. This says the right one not contain the left one. If it doesn't, add it. Set them dirty so that it gets refreshed. The next editor frame, I guess you could call it. We should also go through and say remove all the special ones, right? Yeah. And disconnect all the special, like, because if it's a player, it can't be a ghost, and we don't want like that all doubling up. So remove special connections from, oh, probably put this inside. Wrong button. Slide this guy up. Oh, come on, keyboard. There we go. Refactor. Turn off caps lock. Learn to type. We're doing good. So we're going to remove all the special connections between those cells, because if it's a player only, it's not a ghost. It's going to return void. This can be left. This can be right. Don't throw. And then we can clear. Do we have a disconnect special cells? It doesn't disconnect cells, but it does them all. I think we just steal this. Pop that guy in there. Right. Remove special connections, left, right. And because we just sort of named this, just gonna go left, right. Now if we modify it somewhere else, it'll be all right. Non-static. Did I make that non-static? There we go. Make it static. Why not? Go to town. This one's also static. It's probably because I refactored some of these and I hand wrote some of them. So, ooh, that was an A. So now we can make this player only. It'll go in and it'll connect the cells through the player list, and it will remove all the special connections. So I wonder if we should remove all the normal ones. Yeah, we should remove all the normal ones, because if it's only players, you know, the normal ones are for the other monsters, right? The non-ghost enemies. So we should disconnect those. Disconnect cells. And I think this one actually does work. Oh, this removes special connections. So this works on the regular neighbors and the special connections. So, we don't need to remove special connections. We just need to disconnect cells, because that's hidden. It's hidden inside here. It's nice to hide code from yourself. So we make them player cells, and we disconnect everybody else, the neighbors and the specials. You'd probably argue that you could break this apart now, right? This is kind of the two things, but we're like, this sort of block of code, right, is repeated 8 times now. We'll refactor it later. Let's test this out, see if it's working. Oh, we need to come up with debug lines. So how are we going to show debug lines? How are we going to show that this cell is player only, right? Because if we make this player only, they disappear, but not all of them, because there's regular neighbors in there. Oh, it makes this connection players only. Yep, I messed that up. All right, let's try it again. So this is going to be a... No, it'll be a multiple. We're going to connect the cells, and we just need to do it like that. Make player only, right? So now only players can make this connection. Why didn't... Oh, because I didn't select that one also. Make player only. We would have to remove all of the special neighbors and regular neighbors from this cell, and then re-add them. All right, let's solve drawing this first. So on draw gizmos, same idea, only players for each neighbor. Ooh, wrong way. Equals arrow. Wrong arrow. Ooh, I am like offset and cannot type. Give it a body and steal some code. Alright. Go to get the in-between halfway points. We're going to mess with the color. We can make it thinner. We can make it thicker. Let's make it thicker. Twice as thick. And normal color. Don't mod it. There we go. Alright. And then it's just going to be a really thick line for all the only players lines. Because those are the most important ones, right? Only players can move there. Alright. Show debug lines. So this one should be only players. There's lines there, but they are not very thick. Let's see. Draw line. 1, vector 2, default thickness. 4F? Let's go 8F, right? Make them super thick. Watch some progress bars. We gotta figure out a way to keep the debug lines on. Yeah, those are quite a bit thicker. A little hard to tell. Let's double it again. 16. Maybe. Did I just lock it up? Oh, there it goes. All right. So most of these should be regular lines, and then have like a few like player only, right? This connection should be nothing. So disconnect. Oh, we got to do the disconnect because it doesn't disconnect the. Yeah, it doesn't disconnect the player onlys. Let's do that real quick. Cell editor. Disconnect cells. Disconnect active cell. Disconnect cells. Yeah, so disconnect cells we're using to clear out the regular ones, the special ones. I'm gonna steal this. We got it. We're getting a little twisted up here. All right, where's the other usage? Disconnect from active cell. All right. Let's do this. Let's rename this to disconnect regular cells, and then this is gonna get disconnect special cells. Steal this. And this is gonna need to go in here. Cell. And then we're gonna do one more that does now we've got 3, right? Void disconnect player only. Cell left, cell right. There we go. Same idea. And then this is just going to be only players. Right. So now we have the 3 discrete, types of cells, which we need. And then disconnect special cells. Okay, so now that we have 3, let's make this better. I really want to just genericize this, right? So the lists themselves, right, are the only things that really change. So we could do something like private static void disconnect, and we could say these are all lists of cells, right? Lists of cells. List cell left, list cell right, and then we would need to know which one. Right, we would need to know specifically which cell, so maybe this does need to be pulled apart. Because the specific list is the only thing that changes. And if we want to make this generic, we know 3 pieces of information. We know what the left cell is, we need to know what the right cell is, but then we need to know which list each cell is in, or which list we're checking, because a cell can be in multiple lists. Yep, we're gonna leave it. Good enough. So now whenever we want to disconnect cells, we need to disconnect the specific ones. So this is connecting like just the player ones, but getting rid of all the rest of them. This is gonna disconnect all of them. Are we using disconnect? anywhere else. Let's just do a quick once over. Nope, nope, nope. Got those, got those. Great, 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 great. All right. We got them all split apart. Now we should be able to go back in and yank apart our through the wall cell, because we don't want this a player move. We want this a nobody move. Right. Show debug. Disconnect. There we go. So now, because this cell only players can move in, means means we can Ghost can't move through there. What is an enactment? Ooh, yeah. An enactment. It's a thing that makes things better, but you do it. Enactment. Yep. Sorry, John. I'm not paid to spell. I'm paid to spell consistently. Damn it. Yep. Typos happen. It's okay. So we got that going. So let's go in and say, how do we? This is only a player cell. Only players can move through here. Let's test it out, and we're gonna have to get a player and an enemy close to it, which is gonna be a couple of moves. I mean, the player just needs to walk around the corner. Ghost can just jump through the wall, and of course we're gonna keep rolling the skeleton, so we have to walk all the way around. You need to have some like sort of setup, like set this as the ghost position. All right, so I think it was this one. All right, so the player's fine. I'm gonna get the ghost over there. Player's gonna be able to walk straight down this wall. Yay. Ghost. I should probably jump the ghost over there, but skeleton. Skeletons can't go through walls. Ghost. All right, jump the ghost through. Skeleton's gonna walk around the corner. Player's gonna go hang out over here. So the player walked down this wall perfectly fine, but if we look, we can't move the ghost over here. So if I step the ghost forward, next time if we get the ghost, which we didn't, we should be able to go through the wall. Skeleton. All right, skeleton. Now see, the skeleton can't move here because he's not a player, right? So nice. See if we can get the ghost over there. Come on, ghost. There it is. All right, so the ghost could move through the wall. Skeleton can't move here. He's going to jump on the player. Ghost, yay! And the ghost can't move there. Huzzah, it works. Woof, that was a little rougher than I thought it was going to be. It took slightly longer than anticipated. But now we have a cell that only players can move into. Do we put something on there? Like build a quick wardrobe? And say like, oh, only players can hide in wardrobes. That sounds kind of fun. Maybe whip out some Blender. Or do we go through? I'm gonna add a couple of more cells. So let's test this out. So like, let's say we want our exit. Control D, slide these guys out. This is our exit, our win condition. Let's move it out a little bit and clear all the neighbors, right? And we're gonna say this is players only. This is, let's make it a single cell. That sounds fun. Delete these guys, right? We only need one cell, but you can get to it from any of these. Player only, player only, player only. There we go. We can probably try and align this a little bit better. Oh, I moved this guy. This should be, let's just back up. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. This guy needs to be 0.5. There we go. So now, as long as you can move onto this cell, this is like the win cell, but only players get to move out there. The monsters don't get to move out there. So like, let's say there's a monster like parked here, right? You want to get past them, right? You've got multiple options. They're not going to be able to completely block off the exit. This also kind of showcases like the disconnectedness. Like this isn't a hard grid. This is just happens to be some nodes that are set up on a grid. We can get any kind of shape we want here. Cool. And I think it's, yeah, having big lines saying these are players only, and then tiny lines saying these are ghosts. I think that'll work. What is next? I keep seeing this ramp, and it keeps bothering me, and I keep wanting to fix it. Oh, also, so if you hadn't noticed, I put in all the walls from last week. Just real quick, dropped one in, and there it is. Like, you can see through the walls. Players move around. Camera chases it. You can see through the walls when you're close to them. Ooh. Pretty neat. And now it's more house-like since the walls are full walls. Next steps. Let's start building out multiple step. Like, I want to be able to choose to move 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps. I think it's going to be pretty easy because we've got that all hidden away in get moves, right? This is going to return a list. And right now it just, whatever cell you're in, it just gets the neighbors for that cell. We could go through and do a breadth first search and build up a list. So let's say F6. Nope, that's not rename. What is change signature? Refactor. Change it. Control F6. Should have guessed control. It's going to be an int, and we're going to say distance. And we are going to use 0. No, we're going to use 1 because at minimum you're going to be able to move 1. So now we should be able to play, and it'll still, everybody gets 1 move. It'll be a good time. Let it reload. Alright, there we go. So everybody can still only move 1 space. But let's say, as a player, or a ghost, or whoever, you get to move 2. King's privilege. Get moves, calculate moves. So we need to throw this down because this is where we interface to our board. And calculate moves, we need to refactor, change signature, and call it distance. Nope, come on. Distance. Use 1. Alright. And this is kind of a smell. Excuse me. Where we're literally just passing something along. Like, we're just passing along, like, almost all of these. We're literally passing all of these. Right, so calculate moves is really just a proxy for get moves, but it uses... Does it use these? It doesn't. Oh, this is... I am awful at this. So the only thing it uses is player, right? So this is really like... Instead of calculate moves, it's more like filter moves, and then this is get moves, but like passing stuff straight through, like there's a weird architecture there, but I don't really care right now. Let's figure out this distance thing. So we've got the distance getting passed here, and we can, right now it's just defaults to 1, right? Distance is always 1, and our code reflects that. It is always 1. What we need to do is we need to do a search, right? Right now we're just saying, let's jump back in here so I can illustrate, and also so I can describe it to myself so I have some semblance of knowing what I'm doing. So we're on this cell, right? And we just say, all right, this cell knows who its neighbors are. There's no search for it. It only needs to know like which neighbors to give it. Like, am I a ghost? Am I a player? Right? Which out of its lists do we get? But if we want to go further, like let's say we go 2 steps, what we do is we're going to add all of the possibilities into a list. And then from that list, we're going to add the possibilities from those possibilities. So that's and we're going to add all those up. And then we can do like, is this already in our possible list? Did we already visit this? And it's breadth first search. The other option being depth first, where we say, okay, I'm going to start with this neighbor. Give me all of its neighbors. All right, this is its first neighbor. And if we're going further than 2, give me its neighbors until I can't get any more neighbors or I run out of distance. And then you back up and be like, all right, which one of your neighbors didn't I use yet? And then I get all those and I go deeper into that and I back up and I go to even back. And it's a little bit weirder to explain. Just give me all of your neighbors. Okay, all of your neighbors, give me all of your neighbors. That's 2 distance. Breadth first search. Woo, go. Let's do that. So what we have already is the first iteration, right? Regular moves. All right, so this is all the filtered stuff. We can go in. So regular moves is going to be like it literally is our output list. So if something's in regular moves, it means we've already visited it, or we've already like evaluated it. But I have a feeling we're going to need a visited list. Let's not add that quite yet. This is our 1 distance. And the thing that changes is this chords, right? So we can extract this stuff. Refactor, extract method, get neighbors, right? And it didn't out variable. I should have fixed that. All right. Undo. Let's try this one more time. Refactor, extract method. I don't want this. You're gonna return. Come on, return. Oh. Dang it. Never mind. Let's just do it here. We'll extract it later. So if this was like returning a list, right, this could be like var possible equals new list of vector 3 ints, right? And then C possible regular moves equals possible. We can do this. Oop. Now I think we can refactor its extract method. Yep. Extract. I didn't change its name. Get possible cell. I should have F6 that. Get possible cell neighbors. This is get possible cell neighbors. So from this coordinate, get all the possible cell neighbors, and then we're going to keep doing that until we get overlaps, right? In distance, right? So we could do. Do we want to do this recursively? Distance, right? So we say if distance equals 0, return possible. Oop. So if we hit the bottom of our recursion, return the possibles. Otherwise, this should be like, 1 or 2. We should be able to say return possible. Oh gosh, possible. No, we need to recurse somewhere else. So possible add add range, get possible neighbors. Yeah? And we just have to loop through each possible coordinate. I think it just broke my, I haven't done a recursive search in so long. Let's see if we can figure it out in 5 minutes. Otherwise, we'll just call it a night. So we need to get the neighbors of all the neighbors. And we can say for each. Impossible. Need to get rid of that positions. For each possible, impossible. We can say here, var next group equals get possible cell neighbors, and then we can say position get special get player distance -1. Whew. And then, so it's going to go out and each group, like each slightly shorter group, until we hit 0, until this returns none. We're going to do possible, add range, next group. Okay, so we're going to go through. First time in, if our distance is 0, just return an empty list, right? And then this will just add nothing. Oh, but we're modifying this list while we're iterating it. That's bad juju. Womp womp. Anyway. We'll fix that in a second. So for this cell, like this coordinate, we're going to get all of its, if we're getting the special, we'll get all of its special neighbors and add them. If we're getting all the players, we'll get all the player ones and add them. Do we add the regular neighbor cells? Ooh, regular moves, yeah. Gotta do that in there too. Move it in a minute. Or, yeah. Womp. We can say possible dot add range. Get the regular ones. There we go. Add the regular ones, add the special ones, add the possible ones. Then for all of those that you just found, get all their possibles. I can say var next group equals new list. Oh, vector3 int. Right, and then we can say next group dot add range. Womp. All right. So now we're building up all of the next ones off of the current ones, and there's going to be overlap. Oh, there's going to be so much overlap. But we can do possible dot add range next group. All right. So once we go get that next group, add them back to the possible and return it, which would sensibly come back to here, and we would add it to the previous next group and return it, and the previous next group and return it. We could pass this down. We could check. Yeah, let's do that. Let's check. Let's introduce a variable here. Variable. Yep. Our possible cell neighbors, perfect. And then we're just gonna for each in possible cell neighbors PCN, possible cell neighbor. Oh, thanks, Ryder. You're very helpful. If next group dot contains possible cell neighbor. Add it. Bam. So, whoop, hands. So, go get all the possible neighbors. For each possible neighbor, if the next group, which is like our running group, I think, if the next group doesn't contain it, add it, and return that. Which would come back in here. Which would get added to, I think I think I've got this backwards. Yep. Yep. Good job, me. I think we're gonna have to pass it. Because we want in here, like, we don't want to add them if they already exist. So, like, yeah, let's try that. Say list, because we need like an already visited, right? I mean, we could just build them up and then, you know, remove the dupes later, I guess. Man, this is exploding in complexity, and I think that might be 5 minutes. All right, let's back out. I think we're close, but I'm gonna pull the ripcord. We are backing out. This is probably for a night where not quite as sleepy. Boop 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 boop. All right, you go away. You go away. You're gonna go away. And you're all there. All right. Ripcord pulled. We're doing one distance for now. Man, that's gonna bug me. But you know, we'll probably start with that next week and go on from there. An attempt was made. Valiant attempt. Let's see if I totally broke everything or if I was able to back out successfully. I know that distance is still in there, but it's not hurting anything. I mean, in the end, it's just getting passed and not used. So, whoop, there we go. Yep, still one. The ghost. Cool. All right. Whew. Glad that still works. Yeah, I still wanna mess with this a little bit. Let's change gears for 10 minutes and let's work on a quick model. Because it's a little weird having a cell that just only the player can move on without any sort of indication. So I'm gonna crack open Blender and I'm gonna open up some reference material. I'll look up like a spooky wardrobe, something googly or something. There we go. I'm gonna steal an image. I am on the completely wrong screen. All right, Blender opened. I'm gonna grab. Where is this? Desktop. We are going to Shift A, image, reference. Where did I save that? Good question. Pretty sure it's on the desktop. Load. There we go. So I'm gonna build this sort of wardrobe. Alt R. What are we gonna do? Z up, rotate, Z90. There we go. Rotate, Y90. Something like this. I'm just gonna stick that in the background just to have it. Maybe make it a little bit more interesting, a little bit spookier. But let's throw down a quick cube, and this has left to right symmetry, and let's just pretend it has front to back symmetry too. Auto mirror X. Oop. X and Y. Nope. X Y. There we go. Now I only need to do one. So our player's about 1 unit tall, so we're gonna make this a little bit taller. We'll grab the bottom, slide it up. Let's grab another cube. Oh, undo, go to our modifiers, turn clipping off, clipping, grab, Shift Z, there we go, turn clipping back on because it's more useful. Scale you down, these are gonna be the feet. Scale this up on the Z, grab, just stick these in the corner. This is gonna be super, quick and dirty. Nice quick model, just to get something in there. Make that a little thinner. Right. How is this looking? I think this is gonna be narrow. No, narrow. Because we have a 1x1 grid, right? Control L, grab Shift Z. So this has to fit inside of a single cell. So you can imagine like this is the door, and it's just living in the cell, and the players can jump in and out of it. Let's make that bottom part, right? And then we're gonna have a couple of inset faces. Inset that a little more. Grab X. Just gonna pull that in. Let's do this guy. Whoop. Let's do one here. Inset. We're gonna not make this as fancy. Just oh my gosh, we're going off the rails. That's it. It's over. Why? There we go. Just gonna throw a couple of panels on here. Just it's a little more interesting. Let's see. And we want individual faces, which is I again. There we go. Let's do it again. Let's do one more. Perfect. I'm gonna Control plus this. I'm gonna move this along X. Grab this, move this out. Get some shadow action on there. Shove this guy in. Pull this guy out. That works. This guy looks awful. X. We're gonna pull this guy way in. And let's throw some stuff on the top. Shift A. Let's grab a cube. Oh, we gotta turn clipping off. Oop, turn clipping back on. Go to the front. Scale her down. Alright. shrink this up. We're gonna make those little finials on top. You know, nice and spooky. Pull this down. Extrude, scale, extrude, extrude, scale, extrude, scale. A couple of neato finials. Let's add. Let's duplicate this. Just smash it in the middle. Why not? And then slide it up. Grab that face. Grab that face. That works. And then I want to make this. I don't know what you call that. Thingamabobber. I totally blanked. Don't care. Let's see, you know, we'll get there. Extrude. Stick it about there. Extrude. Stick it about there. Extrude. Perfect. Nailed it. Nice. Does it need depth? Probably should you have some depth. Grab those faces. Not that face. That face. Zoom in here. Extrude it back. Oh, look at that. It's inside out. Is it inside out, or did we just not make some faces? Control L for select link. Control I for invert. H to hide. I think we just didn't add faces. So, loop select by alt left clicking. F for a face. Great. Let's recalculate normals just in case. And alt H to unhide. Yeah, that works. Yeah. Quick and dirty little, what do you call this? Wardrobe. Should we make it a little spookier? Add a bunch of geometry to it. Do like a mesh deform to it. Make it like crooked. I don't know. We could spend a couple hours on this. Let's do smooth. Scale you in. Yeah. I'm gonna go in. Apply. Now we can. Now you go ahead and just you know, make it sort of off kilter. You know, that's spookiness is. It's just stuff that's like all bent up and, you know, out of shape, I guess you could say. Let's add 2 loops in here. Just grab a couple of them. Make it a little bigger on the top, you know, a little more imposing. Guess we could throw some rotates in there. Yeah, now it's off kilter. Let's break up these lines. Pull this guy back down. I think it's sufficiently spooky. Yeah. All right. I want these to be smooth. Shade smooth. Nah, that doesn't look good. Shade flat. Yeah. Let's see if we can do just these. Shade smooth. I don't think shading these smooth will maintain. There's still sort of an edge there. Yeah, we'll just leave it flat. Not doing an RPass. We're just making a doodad. Delete file. Save as. What was that? Like maybe 10 minutes? It's pretty good. Where is the save dial? There it is. Okay. Computer. Unity project is in the folder. Oh, over here. Models, sources. There's the house. There's the player. I want the wardrobe. Save. Jump back into Unity. We're gonna hide those debug lines. If this ever, yeah, there we go. Models, sources, wardrobe should be right there. Let's drop this guy. Oh, it's a little big. It's a little big. I think it's probably twice as big as it needs to be. $90. Let's see if we can remember which. That one. Slide this guy here. Let's scale this guy down on the X a little bit. Sort of slide him in the corner. Yeah, that works. Actually, let's stick him over here just for funsies. And we can see him in game real quick. And I am almost out of vaguely flavored water. There we go. That doesn't, that's, I think that's a, you know, could be a little taller. And we got to do something with, you know, players hiding inside to kind of mark them. But I think that's good. I like it. Let's do a quick tweak to it. Grab the scaling tool, scale it up a bit, make it a little bit thicker. Not that thick. There. And even with like no texture or anything on it, looks okay. Give it a quick save. Oh gosh, what did I do? What did I do? Don't crash. Do not crash. All right, well, if this crashes, that's the end of that. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think. It's off she goes. Oh, everything is awful. Oh, no, why? That was weird. Just like minimized every single application I had open. All of my browsers gone. Alright. Let me know what you think. Love suggestions. Send me some messages. Comment on the video. Like, subscribe. Send me your firstborn. No, wait. Don't do that. I've got one of my own. But, you know, thanks for tuning in. I'm really digging doing this once a week. Getting some game dev in. And, kind of fumbling my way through it, which, you know, that's the best kind. So, see you next week when we do something. Multi-moves. Next week we're going to do some depth first search so that players and enemies can move more than one space at a time, and then after that we can implement a sort of card system. You play a card to move 3 spaces, and you draw a card every turn. You know, setting up that mechanism. So tune in next week, and I will see you then.